Crumbs from His Table by Ramanananda Swarnagiri. Chapter 10 Obstacles and Hatha Yoga. Disciple, people practicing meditation, etc., are said to get new diseases at any rate. I feel some pain in the back and front of the chest. This is stated to be a test by God. Will Bhagavan explain this and say if it is true? Bhagavan, there is no Bhagavan outside you and no test is therefore instituted. What you believe to be a test or a new disease resulting from spiritual practices is really the strain that is now brought to play upon your nerves and the five senses. The mind, which was hitherto operating through the nadis to sense external objects and thus maintaining a link between itself and the organs of perception, is now required to withdraw from the link, and this action of withdrawal naturally causes a strain, a sprain, or a snap attended with pain, which people term disease and perhaps test by God. All this would go if you would but continue your meditation, bestowing your thought solely on understanding yourself or on self-realization. There is no greater remedy than this continuous yoga or union with God or Atman. There cannot but be pain as a result of your discarding your long acquired vasanas. Disciple, Hatha Yoga practices are said to be banished diseases effectively and are therefore advocated as necessary preliminaries to Jnana Yoga. Bhagavan, let those who advocate them use them. It has not been the experience here. All diseases would be effectively annihilated by continuous self-enquiry. Disciple, what about pranayama? Bhagavan, what about it? While I do not speak about it in terms of the well-known phraseology of Purakam, Rechakam and Kumbhakam, and of their matras like inhalation, exhalation and retention of breath in units of time, I have said that it can be used. Mind and life breath spring from the same source. If you stop the course of one, you have automatically stopped the course of the other. Control of mind is easier than control of breath. The latter resembles the forcible milking of a cow, and the former the cajoling of the cow by a feed of grass and caressing it by gently patting its back. Sri Bhagavan one day told an anecdote from the life of Prabhulinga while speaking on the subject of Hatha Yoga, etc. Prabhulinga, the founder of the Lingayat sect, now most prevalent in Mysore state only, was touring the land for the uplift of the spiritually minded. He met the famous yogi Gorakhnath in Gokarnam, a famous place of Hindu pilgrimage on the west coast of India, a few miles south of Goa. The yogi welcomed him respectfully, but was proudly conscious of his own extraordinary powers over the elements. He considered his guest more or less his equal, expressed pleasure at meeting him, and on his greeting him asked him who he was. Prabhulinga replied that he only who had destroyed his ego, root and branch, and realized himself could know who he was, and wondered what he could say to a non-entity, a person who clung to his perishable body. Gorakhnath, who identified his body with his self, replied, that person alone who has gained the immortality of the body by the favor of Shiva and consumption of gulikas will never die. Therefore, one who has not gained such immortality dies. Prabhu observed, you speak as if existence in an imperishable body is your real existence and the death of the body your death. Evidently, you appear to think that the body itself is yourself. You can only be matched by the ignorant masses. That is, you are no better than an ignorant man, though you are a famous Siddha, a yogi. If the body be yourself, why do you say my body? Everyone speaks of his possessions as my clothes, my gold, etc. Tell me if anyone identifies himself with the clothes or the gold, etc., and says, I am the clothes, I am the gold, etc. Gorak replied, men say, I think, I walk, etc. Please tell me what the I signifies in such instances. Prabhu, I think signifies association with the faculty of thinking. Similarly, also in other instances, association with the body, the senses, and the faculties is meant. If, on the other hand, I be identical with them, how many eyes are there? You are mistaking a superimposition for the reality. Gorak asked Prabhu to explain what is meant by saying, I lose my life. Is there one life to lose another? Prabhu said, life breath is the real meaning of the word life, whereas the self is also referred to as life, figuratively. Why do you seek your own ruin by identifying yourself with the perishable body composed of flesh, blood, bones, fat, etc., notwithstanding the scriptural statement that the self is existence, knowledge, and bliss? One who disgusted with this body, the thing responsible for the interminable recurrence of births and deaths, is intent upon obtaining freedom, will look at this body with the same disgust as one who has unwittingly trodden on loathsome offal on the path. While the wise pray to Shiva to free them from taking a body anymore, just as a man would take medicine to rid himself of a malady once and for all, is it not a matter for wonder what you should seek to perpetuate the body by divine favor? Does not this correspond to a sick man taking medicine to perpetuate the malady? Has even one such glorified body ever been born which has not met with death? There never was a case of a stone thrown up that has not come back to earth. So also anything having a beginning must also have an end, some time or other. Only if there was anything that was not born could it remain without death. You have based the immortality of your body on the use of drugs and divine favor, or no other assumption than that the days you would live with this body are interminable. This assumption is untenable. Oh, you who are great in penance, desire at least hereafter to obtain salvation. Gorak could not be persuaded and would not budge an inch from his ground. He challenged Prabhu to try cutting his body, handing him a sword, long, bright, and sharp. His body could not be cut, nor was Gorak able to touch an atom of Prabhu when he was in turn challenged to injure Prabhu. In spite of Gorak having been told to call to his aid his own strength and that of his relations. Gorak, who was surprised at this, acknowledged Prabhu's superiority and begged to be taught Brahma Vidya. Prabhu then expounded to Gorak Brahma Vidya as follows. Gorak, conceive not your body as yourself. Seek the indweller, and you will once for all rid yourself of the disease of birth and death. The cave is only your heart. The indweller thereof is called God, and I am that.